Hello, Math 1. So today we are going to continue the discussion with angles, and we're going to talk about two things. We're going to, one, talk about congruent angles, and two, we're going to talk about complementary and supplementary angles. So generally, we would go through the process of how to copy an angle and all that, but we're just going to go ahead and move down and discuss the terminology, what are congruent angles. And congruent angles are basically angles, right? They are angles with the same measure. So when we talk about this, we would use, again, the congruent symbol with this. So we would say something like angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So the equal sign with the tilde above it gives you the congruent symbol. Now, like segments, right, we mark congruent angles using similar markings, except we like to use markings such as like one arc, double arcs. Sometimes we'll go an arc with a line through it, a double arc with a line through it, right? These are just ways of marking angles congruent. So when we look at the first example here, right, angle A is congruent to angle B. So when I look at it, this is angle A, so we would mark that congruent to that. So those, we can just put a single arc. Next, angle APQ is congruent to angle BPQ. So when I look at this, A to P to Q, double arc, right, is congruent to B to P to Q, which is this angle here. I'm going to put another double arc there. And then last, they tell us that angle AQP, so A to Q to P, this angle here, I'll go like a double arc with a tick mark through it, is congruent to BQP, which is this angle here, and I'll put a double arc with the tick mark. So now we know this angle is congruent to this angle. We know this angle is congruent to that angle. And we know this angle is congruent to that angle. Okay? So now, if we were given the following diagram, can we state the segments that are congruent? Well, if I look, I'm looking for the marking. So one tick mark, one tick mark, one tick mark. I can say that these segments are congruent. So I could say FD is congruent to CD, which is congruent to BD. And again, we want to name these as segments and make sure we're using proper, right, notation. Then I move on and I see double tick marks, so I could also say that AD, right, is congruent to ED. Now, right now, there's no other angles that are congruent, segments that are congruent, so I'll move on to angles. So if I look at the angles, I can see tick mark with a dash, arc with a dash, arc with a dash, arc with a dash. So I could say angle FDE is congruent to angle, would this be ADB, which is congruent to angle BDC, right? So when I look at it, angle FDE, which is this angle here, is congruent to angle ADB, which is this angle here, which is congruent to angle BDC, which is this angle here. Now find the measure of angle ADB. Well, if I look and highlight angle A to D to B, well, here's the thing. If these two angles make a box, that means they're 90 degrees. And if this angle is congruent to this angle, I would say 90 divided by 2 gives me 45 degrees. Next example. You're given angle CBD is congruent to DBE. So right away here, when I look at it, CBD, right? So this angle here, CBD, is congruent to DBE, this angle here. So right away, if I look, I can take their measures and set them equal to each other. So x plus 10 is equal to 60 degrees. If I go ahead and subtract 10, I get x is 50. And if x is 50, now to find the measure of angle A, you have to understand that angle A is this angle here. And if angle A is x plus 5, I know 50 plus 5 is 55 degrees. Okay? You have to understand that when these angles are congruent, their measures are equal. So next, we talk about complementary angles. Complementary angles are angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Right? So if I say, you have to understand, like when we talk about like complementary angles, you have one angle and we say its complement, right, is this measure. Supplementary angles are angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So right away here, when I look at the first four examples here, if this angle is 105 and this angle is 75, are these angles going to be complementary, supplementary, or neither? Well, if I add 105 and 75, I get 180. So we would say that these angles are supplementary. The next one, if I take the two angle measures, right? 50 plus 40, that will give me 90. So we say angle A and angle B are complementary. Next one, when I look, this box gives me a right angle. And if that box is a right angle, I know angle 1 and angle 2 add up to 90 degrees. Therefore, these are complementary. And the last one here, if I look, angle 3 and angle 4, these make up a 180 degree angle or a straight angle. So if angle 3 plus angle 4 adds up to 180, I know that these angles are supplementary. Okay? So remember, complementary is 90 degrees, supplementary is 180. So, example 5, what is the supplement of a 70 degree angle? I know supplementary means they add to 180. So, I'm going to take 180, subtract the 70 degree angle I have, and the supplement would be 110 degrees. Okay, example 6. Angle A is a complement of angle C. If angle A is 47, right? So right away we have to know if A and C are complementary, I know angle A plus angle C add up to 90. And if we know angle A is 47 degrees, right? What would I do to find angle C? I would subtract. Angle C is going to be 90 minus 47, which would give you 43 degrees. Okay. Example 7. Angle B, A and B are complementary. Angle A. So right away, if they're complementary, angle A plus angle B adds up to 90. So now they want us to find the measure of angle A and angle B. So what I'm going to do is plug these values in. I'm going to replace angle A with 3x plus 12. So 3x plus 12 plus, I'm going to replace angle B with 2x minus 22 plus 2x minus 22 adds up to 90. So 3x plus 2x is 5x. 12 minus 22 is minus 10 equals 90. I'm going to go ahead, add the 10. 5x equals 100. X is equal to 20. Once we have x, now I can say angle A is 3 times 20 plus 12, which is 60 plus 12, which gives me 72 degrees. Now, I can find angle B one of two ways. One, I could just take 90 and subtract 72. That would give me 18 degrees. Or I can say angle B is equal to 2 times 20 minus 22, and 40 minus 22 would give me 18 degrees. Either way, you can, do it. So the next construction goes through, how to create what we call a perpendicular line. And what they basically do is they basically take a compass and they mark it at a length a little over the halfway mark. They'll mark an arc up here. They'll do the same thing, mark an arc over here, plot a point, and draw this line. And what that gives us is a right angle. And that's what we're going to talk about now. And we're going to talk about something you guys have heard before, and that is perpendicular lines. We know perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form right angles, or basically 90-degree angles. Now the symbol, as soon as you see this symbol represents perpendicular. And it basically allows you to put that little box right in the corner. So right now when I look here, RO is perpendicular to NP. So RO is perpendicular to NP. So right at that intersection where these two lines intersect, I can say this is 90 degrees and I can say that is 90 degrees. So we could basically say angle RON and angle ROP are right angles. Okay? So knowing that symbol is very critical for, everything beyond this point. So the next example, given MO is perpendicular to OP. So MO is perpendicular to OP. So right here, I can put my right angle box. Then they tell me angle MOR. So M to O to R is 3x plus 7. Then angle ROP, or ROP, from R to O to P, this angle here is 4x minus 1. Now that we know that MO is perpendicular to OP, we get this right angle. Now I know angle MOR plus angle ROP add up to 90 degrees. So MOR is 3x plus 7 plus ROP is 4x minus 1 equals 90. 3x plus 4x is 7x. Combine like terms here. 7 minus 1 is plus 6 equals 90. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 6. 7x equals 84. And when I divide by 7, x is equal to 12. If x is equal to 12, now I can plug that back in and say angle MOR is equal to 3 times 12 plus 7, which will give me 36 plus 7, which is 43 degrees. Okay, so that's a very good problem, and that's just knowing the symbols and what they mean and what they give you. Marking the diagram is critical. Example 10, right? Given AB is perpendicular to BC. So AB is perpendicular to BC. I get a right angle there. So right away I know angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Well, they tell me here that angle 2 is 4 times the measure of angle 1. So if I say angle 1 is x degrees, I know angle 2 is going to be 4 times that measure, so it's going to be 4x. So here I can say x plus 4x equals 90. And now, combine like terms, 5x equals 90. I'm going to divide by 5. And I'm going to get x is equal to 18. Now I know Angle 1 is going to be 18 degrees, and angle 2 is going to be 4 times 18, which is 72 degrees. So this should give you enough to go ahead and start the homework, right? And that's going to be page 33 and 34. So go ahead, try the homework, and let me know if you have any questions.